Steve, I want to begin with you. Several themes in yesterday's testimony. One was a Democrats' desire to discredit even members of their own party who are blowing the whistle on the crooked DOJ, but also how breaches of law were simply ignored in order to protect the left-wing party and their leader. What were your takeaways?
Well, my takeaway in general was that certainly people within the DOJ and the FBI should probably be looked at for violating the law that's been cited for some of these January 6 subjects and Donald Trump as well for the Mar-a-Lago confidential documents. And that is impeding an official proceeding. This is an official proceeding. This is an investigation that was being conducted by the IRS, and clearly high-ranking officials within the Department of Justice were slow-walking it. They were stopping that from going on, and clearly to protect their preferred candidate for president.
Jesse, what's your take?
I think Steve's exactly right. And we really do see the two systems of justice that are on display here, where the permanent law enforcement bureaucracy in Washington, D.C., that, people like Steve have really given their all to expose the American people. It really just shows that bureaucracy will go out of their way to protect people like the Bidens, always making an excuse for people like the Bidens to stop them from facing justice, while always finding a reason to go after people like Donald Trump, who are a threat to that permanent D.C. bureaucracy.
Protecting the worst among us. Steve, the Department of Justice has quietly scrubbed a lot of information on child trafficking from their website. This is sparking outrage in people who care about the predation against children and lending fuel to the fire that the left wing in America is running interference for child predators. One of the deleted sections warned that sex trafficking can involve the cross-border transportation of children. Aren't these revelations damning of a clearly partisan Department of Injustice?
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. And it's certainly something that Christopher Wray was asked about when he testified in front of the Judiciary Committee. And it's something that he lied about. He said that no agents were reassigned from working on child trafficking and child exploitation cases to work on domestic terrorism. Well, facts are facts. And that exactly what happened to me. I was told that child exploitation cases were no longer going to be a priority in my office and that they're going to be considered a local matter. And that is not just a simple matter of finite amount of resources, as we're seeing with this Sound of Freedom, the success of this movie as it's come out and exposing the absolute disgusting nature of these crimes that are being committed. There's going to be a growing appetite, I'm hopeful, within the country that these crimes should be addressed, and the DOJ needs to rectify this forthwith.
Absolutely. I think it is the American people versus the government on this particular issue. Jesse, we are waiting for this third indictment against President Trump. According to reports, the target letter mentioned 3 federal statutes: conspiracy to commit offense or defraud the U.S., deprivation of rights under color of law, tampering with a witness, victim, or informant. Are these charges based in reality, or are they in line with what we saw when the Biden-Garland Justice Department earned a rebuke from a judge after they stretched a statute to justify undertaking a campaign of intimidation and coercion against a Catholic father of 7?
I think that's exactly right. There is no reality in these charges, either factually or legally. Factually, all Donald Trump ever did is encourage people to peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard. And then legally speaking, everything that the Trump campaign did, and President Trump certainly personally, is backed by legal precedent and historic precedent. And there's important First Amendment rights at issue here, in not just the right to speech and the right to assemble, but also the right to petition your government for redress of grievances, which is a part of the First Amendment that is not talked about as much as the others. That would absolutely foreclose these prosecutions. But Jack Smith doesn't care, because he wants to throw everything he can at Donald Trump, because the process is the punishment. And Jack Smith wants to interfere in the 2024 election. He wants to do everything he can to make sure the American people are not the ones who decide who the next president is. Jack Smith wants to decide who the next president is himself.
I like that. The process is the punishment. Jesse Bunnell, Steve Friend, thanks, guys.